Hi everyone, welcome to the sequence diagram tutorial. In the last few videos, we talk about how to generate sequence diagrams, simplify them, and export them. Today, let's look at things from a different angle. We'll see how to use SequenceDiagram Plugin to better understand your code and uncover the logic behind it. Code reviews are a common activity in many teams. With the SequenceDiagram plugin, you can generate diagrams and navigate through them easily. It makes code reviews more fun and helps keep complex logic clear and organized. Let's start with a simple example. We'll focus on two things: method calls and lifeline names. Let's generate a sequence diagram. Here is a method with two steps. First, create a fruit instance, and second, call the eat method. Method calls, they show every call statement in your code. In this example, 1.1 create match the code that create the instance. 1.2 eat match the second course. Now, lifelines. In the diagram, it's highlighted in blue. This shows the implementation of the called method. The length of the lifetime gives you a good sense of how complex that method is, how many deeper calls it makes, or how many steps are inside it. The golden rule for navigation: double-click to jump into the code. But note, double-clicking a method call is a bit different from double-clicking a lifeline. We'll see that in a moment. Now that we've got the basic, let's look at a more complex example. Here's an example of creating a MySQL database connection. In the create block, there are just three calls. 1.1 create the connection object. 1.2 connect. 1.3 just a log output. If I double-click the 1.1 method call, it takes me straight to that line of the code. So where is the 1.2 in the diagram? Because the diagram is big and complex, I'll first highlight the lifeline of the 1.1. No need to double-click it. I'll scroll down along the blue lifeline until it ends. Right below that, I'll find the next method call, that is 1.2. Then I double-click it to jump in it to its code. Next, I highlight the lifeline of 1.2, scroll down to find 1.3, and double-click to jump in again. This example shows how lifeline length can reflect the complexity of the logic in the code. Let's try another one. This time, say we want to see how the write method of the parser object is implemented. I double-click the write method lifeline, and it jumps to its implementation. Then, I click through its method call one by one. First step is push. I find the second method call, double-click to go to its code. Then, I highlight the lifeline of that step, find the third method call right below where the lifeline ends, double-click again, and so on. The write method has 4 steps in total, and with this approach, it's easy to see which one is more complex just by looking at the lifelines. Once you get the hang of this navigation, no matter how complex the diagram is, you will always find your way through the logic. No more getting lost. Let's wrap up with a summary. How do you make code reviews simple and efficient and uncover the logic behind the code? First, pick the right starting point. Sure, you can generate a diagram from any method, but choosing where to start really matters. Generally, you want to pick key entry points, like a main method, a controller method in a web app, or an entry point for a microservice. Once you pick these, the plugin can show the complex logic behind them in a diagram. Then, using double-click navigation, you can walk through step by step, whether you're going deeper layer by layer or using lifeline to understand the flow. Second, use the parameter setting to simplify the diagram. You can filter out routine code to highlight the main logic. For example, getters and setters, they usually don't have complex logic, so you can skip showing them. Constructors, you can decide to skip them depending on your needs. Private method, if you are focusing on high-level model interactions, you can skip them too, since models mainly interact through public methods. And finally, master the two navigation styles, method calls and lifelines. Double-click to jump into code, or just highlight to explore. Let a SequenceDiagram plugin help you go through code review efficiently. And one last thing, just a quick shout-out. Starting from version 4, the SequenceDiagram plugin now supports Java, Kotlin, Scala, JavaScript, TypeScript, Python, Go, Rust, and C++. Alright, that's it for today's video. If you enjoy it, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Thanks for watching.